Looking Forward with Ryan Hughes.
Ryan Hughes.
It's up to Rhino to answer this challenge.
Your leader, Ryan Hughes, 105. Hughes on the inside. Hughes on the inside, though, trying to get a run at
Ryan
him.
Hughes has got a problem with the bike. He's trying to push it to
And we're back again, Big 49 and Ryan Hughes, and looking ahead like we're always doing. Never look backwards. Never look in the rear view mirror, eh?
No, we're not about the rear view mirror thing.
No.
We're about looking forward.
Always.
Seeing the windshield.
Yeah.
Looking out.
Yeah, it's like a big movie.
Speaking of windshields,
Yeah.
you were just on a little bit of a trip.
Yeah. I went up to Colorado again to see my son, which was amazing. And so he lives up in Grand Junction, Colorado, goes to school. He's studying to be a mechanical engineer. So he's smarty pants,
Yeah.
He got sight of me.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I know shit, huh? But so I got him a job up there to help demo my friend's house.
Okay.
Up in like Basalt, Aspen area.
Okay.
So a really cool spot right by the river. So he's there all week, and I said, hey man, I'm gonna come up there. I got some things that I want to go through in my head. I'm going through some changes in my life, some different roads and different things like that.
Okay.
So I bought a tent, got all my shit ready, man. I was packed, ready to the hilt.
Okay.
I got everything. I had heater. I had brought my sauna. I brought everything. And so I put the tent up by the river, hooked that thing up, was all stoked, and then jumped in the first night. And I'm like, oh my God, this river was so loud. Dude, it was so loud.
It's like sleeping on the beach,
So loud. And then there's thunder, there was lightning,
Yeah.
and then there was rain and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, what did I get myself into just because it was so loud? But it was cool. Then I'd wake up in the morning, then jump in the river,
Okay.
take a shower or take a bath in the river. Then I had my sauna out there and jumped in my sauna, and I'd do that 2-3 times, river sauna. Then, of course, you have technology, so I'd watch the Tour de France in the morning a bit, and then, do some chores with him, hang out. But yeah, it was a little bit of time just to get away from with myself and also spend some good time with my son.
Okay.
And so, very, very, very rewarding connection that I had with my son. And then, driving there, I drove, pretty much straight through. Driving home, I drove straight through, no stop. I stopped one time for gas. Other times I just piss in a bottle,
Just keep it going.
Well, that's just my way. It's like, if I have like a destination,
Yep.
then it's fun. To get there, you know what I mean? How fast can I get there? Not by going crazy, but just, how fast I get there. So I did 10 and a half hours straight from Colorado all the way to the doorstep of Janelle's house.
Okay.
So,
Got it. So do you recommend that, by the way, for riders? Like when you're training a rider to get away, do you ever say to a rider, like, you're just in the same rut, you're the same familiar track, and it's screwing with your technique?
I would say that for anybody. Anybody to get away from the norm. Because what does newness create? Newness creates excitement.
Okay.
So that's what I like to do. Is I like to get away from my normal life or the monotonous of the everyday same shower, same this. So when I go away, and maybe even like that time, I made myself a little bit uncomfortable living in a tent, for a few days and sleeping by a river and all that stuff. When I got home and I made my coffee and I got in my shower and I laid in my bed, I'm like, I love it, just because it's new again and it doesn't take much. And even when you're in a relationship, a job, even a hobby or whatever, when you can take time away and then you get back into it, you get there's a little spark again. There's a little excitement again, that your woman is beautiful again and your man isn't such an ass again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I took some time away from yoga too, just a week, and jumped back into it when I got home, and I just forgot how good it makes you feel because you're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And now if you take a step away from it, you're like, okay, this is why I do it. This is the medicine that I have, or that yoga creates. So, yeah, it was a good trip, man. I was very, very happy to spend time with my son. Also, spend time just with myself and my mind. Especially those long roads, you get time to go through some ideas or some holdups or some new avenues in your life. You get to be able to not have a distraction or from somebody wanting your attention or always being in conversation or always being in chore mode, or just, so it's good. I tell everybody to take some time away from what is the normal, so then you make the normal a little bit special again.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. The reason why I was asking is because it just seems that sometimes if you're riding like a consistent track all the time, and it's like your home track, you're always at Glen Helen, you're always riding that, or you're always down at Paula, you can master that track. You can literally master it, but that's not going to help you on race day.
Well, yeah, if you're not challenged, if you don't challenge yourself, you're never going to progress yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so you always have to challenge yourself, and not by being dangerous or doing something that is taking you out of your comfort zone. Yes, taking it out of your comfort zone, but not to way to kind of to hurt you or to overtrain you. But yeah, it's definitely good to get out of your norm. And just like I was talking in the last podcast about, riding Supercross all the time, it's good to do one day, maybe a week of outdoor.
Okay.
Just because it throws a little wrench in the program. Or maybe, you're riding a bunch of motocross, well, go do some off-road.
Okay.
Do something that way. Something a little bit different. And because the body will always progress so much quicker when it is kind of challenged or surprised than if it does the same thing all the time. If it does the same thing all the time, it progresses very, very slowly because it becomes very comfortable with the norm. Now you throw something in there that it's a challenge and shocks it. Well, it's going to progress so much quicker because now there was a challenge. If you don't challenge yourself, you don't progress yourself. Done, finished.
Got it. A lot of riders I think have a problem with that. I think that they when I go to Glen Helen, I see the same guys a lot of the times doing the same things over and over again out there.
Well, the thing is that it's unfortunately we only have so many places to ride.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in that, and when you're in a pro, you get into it. Now, if you're trying to progress as a younger rider, you want to challenge yourself a little bit different. You don't want to go crazy where you're always doing different things and you don't have that, just that repeat button, because that's also important too.
Okay.
It's just doing the same thing all the time because then you can better yourself. But you need to make sure that you're doing sprints, you're doing technique work, you're doing motos, you're doing things like that. But then also nowadays we don't have a lot of options to where we can go riding.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And also now the trainers these days just have a cookie cutter program.
Yeah.
Very cookie cutter program where they get your heart rate. Because again, there's a lot of trainers out there that everybody thinks are so great, but the only thing they're doing is using a computer.
Yeah.
They get your heart rate, they put it into this program, and then it prints out what you should be doing the next week or where you should be and this and that. They don't have to think about it. It's kind of a very cheap way to do it. And then you think this guy's really paying attention to it, but he's not paying attention to it. He's just going off numbers in a computer. But numbers in a computer don't really answer the questions of why are you struggling? Why aren't you fast enough? Why are you this? Why are you that? It doesn't know you. It only knows your numbers and where you need to rest and where you need to be heart rate zone for the next week and this, but it doesn't know your mentality.
Yeah.
So a real coach is going to understand your mentality and know where to start picking you apart from. And so that's whenever I coach people, I say, hey, we're never going to work on what you're good at because you're already good at it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick you apart and find the weaknesses in you, and that's what we're going to fix. And the farther we get down there, the more I'm going to pick you apart. And pretty soon it's just going to be little things. But I say, are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that? And that's why I can only train really two people now, and that's Austin Forkner and Noah Viney.
Yeah.
Because they can take me picking them apart, but in a constructive way, in a positive way, you know? And not picking them apart that they suck. No, I want to find your imbalances. I want to find your weaknesses because then we make you so much better. If we're always working just on your strengths or the same things, then we kind of have a stale duck.
Yeah.
And I had a stale duck and my other ducks killed it.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of Austin, by the way, I don't know if I should give you a prop or if I should give the gods in general a great prop, but how is it that you tell young riders to deal with things like internet trolls and just criticism from outside? Because yesterday I saw a post on Instagram where Austin Forkner was wearing a Rage Against the Machine t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Great band. We play Rage on Big 49.
Yeah.
I would expect you at one point to pick out a Rage song as your out of break song at some point.
I don't really listen to them. But,
okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I would expect that.
I'm a much softer music guy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, It's a rock song.
Yeah. No, I know they are.
And he picked off Rage Against the Machine, and this troll, this motocross troll, jumps on and he says something to the effect of, "You don't know really what you're supporting when you support that band, blah, 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 blah. They don't support any of the same things that you support." And Austin had this great comeback. He's just like, "I just like the music. I'm not about the message. I'm just about the music. I like the music of the band. They play well." And I thought it was a very mature response. And I thought that only comes from some level of training and somebody around you to give you that wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him, quite a bit about that. Just, really don't read your comments. That's the thing. If but a lot of stuff you just come across because you don't think that you're really doing anything, and everybody's gonna have a problem. So I have one word that these people need to know. They need to know really well, and that is fucking delete and blocked.
Yep.
That's my thing. You give me anything, you give me any negative, anything, fucking blocked. Done. I don't need to hear you. I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to even look at you.
Yeah.
Because why are you following me? And then I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to even give you the satisfaction to follow me and know that you have a problem with me and you're still following. No, done, blocked. Get out of here. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, please.
Yeah.
And that's the way you do it. And then you start just feeding away these shit people, that just have nothing better to do than just to kind of try to knock you down because they're envious.
Yeah.
That's the only reason anybody's going to say something to you, accuse something of you, or anything that is because they're fucking envious of you. And it's done, plain and simple. And that's what I've learned before. It kind of used to kind of irritate me that, oh, Rhino's this and Rhino's crazy. And you know what? No. It's just only because you're envious of that I'm raw, I'm authentic, I speak my mind, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. And you give a shit what everybody thinks. You can't speak your mind, and you're not raw, and you're not authentic.
Yeah.
But you wish you were. And that's where I lay it down,
It goes into something that you said last week, and the reason why I brought all of that up was because something that you tipped on last week, which was basically sometimes with like a professional boxer, they tell them, no girls for a month, because it keeps you fresh and it keeps you on your edge. And as a rider, especially a pro motocross rider, you kind of need to keep your edge.
Yeah, I mean, I gave those rules to a few riders,
Okay.
If they, like Noah Viney, I said, hey, you pick, it's me or a girl.
Okay.
You pick. You get a girlfriend, you start getting all up in her, then I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you pick me or you pick the girl. And I kind of did that with Dean Wilson, too.
Okay.
And that's maybe why he quit on me, is because he needed a girl. But I said, hey, you're not winning yet. You're not a champion. So let's win. Then maybe go deal with the girl. But until then, I'm not going to put all this time into you and all this stuff into you, and some girl take your attention away from what you have dedicated your life to. Because it's so easy, especially when you haven't been down that road, and all of a sudden you get a little piece of it. And oh my God, it's like, you just found the Holy Grail, and half of your attention's gone, man. Half of your attention. And all of a sudden now here comes this jealousy that you never had. Here comes this always calling her, all this new attention, and this thought of something you've never felt before. That's the most amazing thing you've ever felt in your life. Yeah, half of you's gone. So it's kind of like, hey, you pick. You pick me or you pick the chick. No problem with me.
And you would say the same thing about social media and all of that. Ignore that.
You have to ignore it. It's a great tool.
Yep.
Use it, don't abuse it. Have fun with it. That's all it is it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And people take it serious. It's retarded. You take it serious. No, it's entertainment. Post your stuff, get your sponsors out there, show everybody what you love and this and that, because people love it.
Yeah.
People love to see what you do.
Of course.
You're an entertainer. You're a name. So don't hold that back from people, but don't get so involved in it that it starts controlling you by, oh, these people said this and these people said that. Now I can't wear this shirt now. I better not wear a Rage Against the Machine shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. No. You need to be doing the same thing and just keep going with it, but do not get attached to it. Use it, don't abuse it.
100%.
And also don't let it abuse you.
Guess what?
And we're already at a break.
We're already at a break. You already got us into it. We are 100% live tonight.
I like it.
This is 100% live tonight.
I like it. I like live.
What is the number that you can give out so people can give you a call?
866-492-4449.
Okay.
Yep, that's the number. If you guys want to call, I can answer questions. I can answer questions if you guys have questions.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We'll jump into an L7 song, and
L7,
then we'll be right back.
And then we'll have to play Rage Against the Machine then. Just for that guy that gave Austin some shit. Here you go, son.
We will play some. Let's do that on second break.
Okay,
so
we got
I'll
that.
pull a rage
Yep.
song second break.
Because I don't know any, so there you go.
Okay, right on. It's a big 49.
And we're back again. That was Moto number 1, right?
Yeah.
That was Moto 1?
Yep. That was Moto 1.
Yeah, first call for Moto 2?
Yeah, first call for Moto 2.
I like
yeah.
it.
So, by the way, great time on that first Moto.
Yeah?
Yeah, you podiumed on that one.
Okay, sometimes podium, sometimes, get a little first turn crash, but
Yeah.
we're getting better. Yeah, in the beginning, we had a couple bogs. The bike, we needed to tune the bike up a little bit. Was getting a little bit tired and had to do some different training. You know what I mean? Just hey, when you got a new mechanic and a new rider, kind of take some time. You know what I mean? You're putting
exactly.
You're
just a mechanic.
You're
man.
just a mechanic.
Just a mechanic.
Yeah, and hey, I'm just a rider. So.
I can make a suggestion, but really it's the feel for you on the track.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
Exactly.
So, speaking of what are you feeling on the track, Ken Roczen and Cooper Webb are both doing World Supercross this summer.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And obviously World Supercross kicks off this summer in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a whole different deal. Now, I don't know if you were around any of the drama or the controversy on that, but it's interesting because those are the two biggest riders, kind of like Dean doing Supercross in Brazil.
Yeah.
My question is with two riders like Ken and Cooper going to Canada to ride in World Supercross, what's your vibe on that? Do you think they're going to carry over some of the same vibe that they would have, let's say, with what we had with our Supercross here?
Well, of course. I mean, Supercross is Supercross. I think it's good. Of course, they're making, they're paying them good money to do it. I mean, are they doing the SMX also, or are they even allowed to? I don't even know if you might get. It might be like the golf thing where you get black flagged if you go to the live or whatever it is.
So you and I both have understanding about how kind of that works, and there was some grumblings of some of that when the first year of World Supercross started, and at the same time they really wanted Ken to come in and ride outdoor, so they did not block him. They let him come in for certain races, and he just kind of came in, rode for a little bit, and then went back into World Supercross again. So he kind of just jumped between outdoor and Supercross. I know that Cooper, though, and Ken both are just like, nope, we're just doing WSX.
Yeah, and that's cool. And they should. You know what I mean? They don't need to do the SMX thing because that's really just a hokey dokey championship. You know, it really is a hokey dokey championship. 3 races. And like I said before, if you have $10 million to put into something, put $10 million back in the series that you guys have had for years and years and years and years. Then that goes to privateers that don't have to qualify for this 3-race thing. Now, Cooper and Ken do that. Now you get 1 or 2 bigger guys going to World Supercross next year. Oof, then you might have a problem. Then the system might start laying down rules so that nobody can do it, and they'll block people and this and that because the system does not want to lose control, to lose power. And if you start getting people to go to these World Supercrosses, which is probably a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, good payday.
Yep.
It stays in Supercross type of thing. Then people are going to start, the system's going to start checking and maybe going about things in more of a dictatorship way. But then that'll be bad for the sport. It'd be really bad for the sport. If you really cared about the sport, you'd allow other people to come in and do their justice. But their thing is, because what's that doing? It's promoting the sport.
Yep.
It's promoting the sport. But when you're a greedy system and you're greedy people, then you're not going to allow anybody to come in because you don't want them to take away just your little chunk of money. Because you don't care about the sport. You don't care about the people. You really, really don't. I don't give a shit what they say. It's been handed down from generation to generation to generation, and they're just picking up the pieces from the person that really did care about the sport.
Yeah.
And we don't need to name names.
No, we're not gonna drag names into the mud, but we do know what we're talking about here.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of interesting things that also happened this last week, another social media post came out with a picture of Eli Tomac in front of his brand new race-ready 911 Porsche.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good.
Because we all know what the grumblings of those rumors were.
Yeah, I mean, he should. I think, one more little incident that's happened, just, you start kind of just giving, it's kind of just, it's not like bad luck, but just things are kind of not, because again, he's had good luck his whole career.
Yeah.
His whole career. He had one bad crash, a couple of things like that. But, the Achilles tendon, that he didn't even crash. And that's just bad, just fate, right?
Yeah.
And now this thing with his thumb,
Yep.
fate. Kind of weird that Jet isn't riding now.
Yep.
So the championship would have been a little bit easier for him. Fate.
Yeah.
And so once these things kind of start happening, it's just like, and like, sometimes I think about, maybe I should get back into doing some mountain bike racing. But I'm like, all that work? Like, why would I want to do that? So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, all that work to go do this. But then there's this other opportunity that is allowing you to explore your talents, explore your interests. And you got to, with age comes a cage, man. You know what I mean? There's a time. And so if he can get out of this career very, very safe and not be all beat up and get into car racing, I applaud that shit. That's awesome. And Eli deserves it, man.
Yeah.
He deserves it. And so I'd love to see him into a car and see where he could take his talents into racing, because I think a motocross racer would be good in all racing if they had the chance to develop in it. And he's retiring early, 30th or whatever. Well, he still has time to develop his skills into this car racing arena. You get what I'm saying? And so, I think it's cool.
Well, it's also a racing mentality.
Yeah.
You have that racing mentality already in you. You know how to find your way into the pack. You know how to get in and out.
Yeah. I mean, you can understand the speeds and the this and the that and this and that. But with car racing, it's so much more car than it is rider or driver.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? With motocross, you can override that bike. You can outwheel people. You can, it's more rider than bike.
Okay.
So to speak. It kind of is, because you can override the bike and do different things and change different lines. But car racing, it's car more than that. And that's where I think Carmichael kind of got a rude awakening, is he thought he was just going to go into NASCAR and be like, oh, yeah. But it's more car than it is, than driver, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you got to go into an arena where people don't want you to come into. And so they might play a little dirty with you.
Yeah.
It's just like some cocky kid coming into the 450 class. Or some cocky kid in amateurs coming in the 250 class. Well, you're going to get a little bit, you're going to get some bumps. You're going to get some this. Same thing that happened to Jason Lawrence when he came in. Everybody's talking shit, blah, blah, blah. I made sure he knew where he's at. And he tells that story.
Yeah.
I blew him off the track real quick. Son, you're messing with different people here.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of that whole thing, this last week, another thing happened in social media where Chase Sexton got a letter from the AMA about drug testing. And apparently no other riders are getting this level of harassment, according to what I saw in the social media post. Could you just enlighten the audience a little bit about that whole AMA relationship and how you have to kind of deal with their deal?
I don't know. I mean, in our day, we didn't have that. And then the WADA thing came up. But now you don't really hear much of it. And I think a lot of sports are just like going, hey, let's cut this off, because if we do get someone busted, it's going to put a big black eye on our sport. And that's what happened to the Tour de France. You don't hear people really... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they want anybody to know that these guys are doping or anything like that, because if someone found out that one of these top guys like Taddy or Vindigo or whatever are doping, it would ruin the sport. It would ruin it. So that's where I think they're almost kind of turning a black eye, and I think motocross is kind of doing the same thing, because you can't tell me nobody's not doing anything. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's so widely, easily used. I mean, get it over the fucking counter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So you can't tell me nobody's not doing anything. It's just, why is he getting that? I have no idea.
He had 7 drug tests.
He had 7 drug tests this year?
7 drug tests.
And nobody else has?
And nobody else has. Yeah, and they sent a letter. And
well, then that would be grounds for me to sue.
Okay.
I would take legal action on that. I would take legal action against the AMA. I'd take legal action against Feld. I'd take legal action against MX Sports. I'd take legal action against them all. It's like, look, this is harassment.
Yeah.
If I'm getting tested 7 times and you're not, and Jet and anybody else isn't getting tested at all, that's called harassment.
Yeah.
That's what I'd put it on. I'd flip the switch real quick. Unless there is talk or whatever that he is. I don't know. But I don't. Like I say, everybody could be doing something.
I just found it like 7 different drug tests. I'm like, either A, somebody has to smell something up,
Yeah.
or B, You're just getting targeted.
Yeah, one of the two getting targeted. Someone smells something, or because I don't know how it could be like another team or somebody trying to, do that to mess with his psyche. You know what I mean? But if I was him, I would change the roles and be like, all right, this is harassment. Now I'm gonna pull a lawsuit on you guys because I don't see anybody else getting tested. Now, if everybody else is getting tested 7 times, then okay, hey, fair game.
Yeah.
But not when it's just me, man. No way. It's time. It's game time then.
Apparently, according to the social media post, everybody's tested at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And that's just everybody across the board.
And that's it. That's it,
Yeah.
right? The rest of the year?
And that's it. And apparently, he's gotten consistently for 7 races now, like a letter from the AMA saying, here's another test, another test.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways. I mean, you can IV and do different things, and I think there's quite a few people IVing probably in the sport in between motos. They say they can test for some plastic or whatever, but that means you got to test every single race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't think there's any blockers and all these different things now? I mean, I don't know, but just these other sports, it's just the technology and the medical, field has gotten so much more than just the WADA or AMA going, hey, piss in the cup.
And that's all these are.
Then we'll take it to our local, our local doctor. Because they're a bunch of hillbillies. I hate to say it. People running motocross, they're just a bunch of hillbillies. They're not, up the top, technical people. So anyways.
So all right, now that we got that under control, my other question here, I had another question here, which was in Colorado, I saw you brought your sauna.
Yeah.
Go into some detail on that for a second.
Well, it's an infrared sauna. So I've been using a far infrared sauna for about 25 years, more before they become popular.
Okay.
And so a far infrared sauna is going to detox you down to the cellular level.
Okay.
It's going to cleanse your blood. It's going to strengthen your bones. It helps heal wounds and scars so much quicker. Balances your hormones. It's an amazing detoxer. It's the deepest detox you can get. And so this is one reason why I feel like I've healed so much, why I don't have maybe some problems from my physical side or even problems maybe from concussions.
Okay.
From just the sauna use that I use. So why I use a sauna and an ice bath, most people just use an ice bath. Most people just use a sauna. But for me, the first healing in mankind, the first medicine in mankind was hydrotherapy, meaning hot and cold. So when you get your body into cold water or cold, the blood goes to your organs to keep your organs at a certain temperature.
Yes.
When you go into heat, your blood comes out away from your organs to keep your organs at a certain temperature. So you get full blood circulation through the whole body. And that's what I feel has healed me so quick, is from that full body blood circulation, not just putting cold on my wrist or cold on my injury and then heat on my injury. It's my full body, so I'm getting new blood to different places that would never maybe get it, and getting full body blood circulation, and that is very healing. Yeah. Very, very, very healing. And so that is why I brought that up there. And for me, it's very soothing because that far infrared kind of has the same vibrational frequencies as a mother's womb, so it's very relaxing. And so with my body injuries, some things in life or whatever, I like that soothing effect, that soothingness, and so that's why I bring that in the sauna that I have. I can travel with it, and just get in a tent, boom, I can go anywhere with it, and it. So I kind of have my doctor in a bag, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a very cool. I noticed that. I was going to ask you about other riders using mobile saunas and that extremity, because I've heard the same kind of concept where extremities and temperature are actually good for you.
Yeah, I mean, riders should be using it more, 100%, because so many riders get sick and this and that, and just the stress. It helps relaxes you, like I say, balances your hormones and things like that. You burn 500 calories every 30 minutes. So it's an amazing property. So if I was a rider, which I was, I used it almost every morning.
Okay.
Every single morning, and it just, or at night, so it'd help you sleep much better. And maybe in Supercrosses where it's cold, you can have that to maybe warm up and then go in there. But I know Eli bought 2 of them. I think Fernandez has one. There's quite a few people that bought the ones that I was kind of selling for a while, and people that buy them and swear by them. They absolutely swear by them, And if you can now add the ice with the heat, that's a whole nother level, And so when in Colorado I do that 3 times.
Okay.
I'd go cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, and then be good,
How cold was the river?
I don't know, but it was cold. And everybody, people
cold.
say, well, you should leave.
Cold.
People say you should leave on cold, or why you go cold first. And I don't know if it really matters, but I think cold first is best because you don't want to get into the cold at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You want to get into the heat. So what are we doing? We're trying to make ourselves comfortable being uncomfortable. And not by anything painful, not by anything dangerous, but just knowing that I don't really want to do this, but you just do it.
Yeah.
You don't question yourself anymore after a while. You just do it. And that's what I notice myself is like my son and this and like, oh, I don't know. And I just find myself just walk into it. And I just find myself lay into it. Even though my mind's saying I don't want to do this, even though my mind's saying this is going to be too cold, whatever, I just find myself doing it because I've made myself comfortable being uncomfortable for so long that it doesn't even register. Right? So that's why I use that first, because again, the cold now is so good to make that mental toughness where you don't have to lift more weights or have to climb mountains or whatever. It's just that mental toughness of doing something that's going to be uncomfortable. You just know it.
Yeah.
But you jump into it all the time.
Well, guess what? You've
Moto
hit
2?
You've hit Moto 2,
right.
and we've got one final Moto,
Okay.
and we're going to hit this next song. We'll hit one final Moto, and then you've cleared
Then
the hour.
there were 3 motos? 3
Yeah,
motos?
3
Okay.
motos.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can leave on the top step, right?
Right on.
Yep. Any phone calls, 866-492-4449. Bring them in. My radio show and podcast of Looking Forward with Ryan Hughes that you guys should tune into because, I'm always on everybody else's damn podcast, and now we're doing our own, and we talk about our own shit. So
you got your own thing. Tell people the number if they want to call.
Yeah, so if you guys want to call the Big 49 Radio, just doing something live, doing something different. Again, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do something like a podcast, well, how do I do it a little bit different? How do I be a little bit unique? And there's a phone number you guys can call, and I always have to look at it. But 866-492-4449. You can call in, ask me questions, all that. We're going a little old school, making it new school, and making it our school, right? Because that's how we do it.
Nice. So yeah, they can call in and talk to you.
Yeah.
And I noticed that somebody actually early on when you were going live, they talked about the whole Jet Lawrence and his girlfriend and their situation there. I thought that was kind of interesting. The other question I had for you was on technique.
Yeah.
We didn't really delve into a lot of technique as far as the process of how you develop that technique and what you walk a rider through on that.
So again, with the technique that I coach, it's kind of like it's the roots. We focus on the roots. You water the roots if you want to make your tree juicy.
Yep.
If you want to make your tree successful, meaning produce fruit and so you can eat it, well, that's the same thing with the rider. You work on their roots to make sure that their speed, their consistency, and their approach to it is correct. Okay. And the roots are how you ride this motorcycle. And so, like I say, the first, and I've talked about it before, when you go to a new track, the first thing you think about is the condition of the track. What is the soil? So then you know what tires to put on, because that's the first point of contact from bike to ground is your tires, right? Yep. So now when you stand on the bike, the first point of contact from body to bike is your feet. So that's where I start. I start at those roots. Those are the roots. That's where you control your motorcycle, is at the feet, making sure that you're on your toes, gripping with your ankles and this and that. Then we move ourselves up to knees. We move ourselves up to hips. We move ourselves up to core, back. We move ourselves up to arms, eyes, and then the approach. And that's the biggest thing, is the approach to motocross, is making sure that every section you get into, every situation you get into, you're in the correct position, form, technique to get what you want. Be precise with your stuff. I see so many people riding motocross like they're just shooting a shotgun. Meaning, I shoot a rifle, meaning there's one bullet.
Yep.
So I'm very precise with it. Boom. Not a shotgun where it's going everywhere.
Yep.
And that's kind of the same thing with your own self and all your emotions. If you're angry, well, be fucking angry like a rifle. Boom. Get it out, explain it, and then be done with it. Don't shoot it like a shotgun where now it's going everywhere, into your friends, into your family, into this, into that. Be very precise. So the same thing with riding is make sure every situation and section you're going into, you're in the best position you can be, the most precise you can be to get what you want out of it. And if it does not go right, well, at least you're in that strong, stable, coordinated, efficient position, because every section you go to leads to the next section and the next section and the next, and you start tying these things together. So the more precise and the more precision you are, and the more focused you are in the technique and position you're in, the better you're going to get around that section. The cleaner you are, the more speed you're going to carry, and then that's called constant momentum, and that's the only way to go fast on a track is with constant momentum. It's not from point A to point B, it's from point A to point Z. And then also it's not just one lap, it's the whole damn moto. So that's where you got to link these things together, and that's where you see the top guys always linking things together, because they're always going into sections and positions, putting themselves in the strong, stable, coordinated, efficient position that I've taught, and then you're going to be getting what you want. Okay. Not what you hope, not what you wish, and not what you think should it be or hope that it's not to be. It's only what I want. So stop focusing on the what if, what could, what might. Only focus on what you want. Done. Finished. And then you start, making the track and making your riding what you want it to be.
Got it.
So,
got it.
Yeah.
And as far as that's concerned, with a rider that's got a trouble, let's say they have a specific problem, do you run them repetitiously through that trouble over and over and over again on the same spot, or do you just let them move on from it and then come back to it another day?
I break it down. So at first we ride the whole track. Okay. For me, it's like, okay, we're going to work on the feet. So there's 3 different things I work on. One, you got to be on your toes, grip with your ankles. Then we start going to corners. You need to be on your toe and pushing with your ankle on the outside. And then you need to bring that inside foot up as quick as you can right when you let that clutch out, get on the gas. So those things with the feet is what I work on. But I have them ride the track, the whole track, probably 10 minutes or more, only focused on that. I'm not trying to tell you how to be technical and take this certain line into a corner or do this jump or anything else, or how to read the track yet. One thing at a time. Because if I can get you to control the motorcycle at your feet and be able to manipulate the bike at your feet, well, then we'll be able to do more technical, more tricky sections or better lines. But if you cannot control the motorcycle properly or manipulate the motorcycle properly, then how are you going to do these lines and these sections that I want you to do? And that's where the coaches are going wrong. They're watering the leaves again. Hey, we're going to go harder into this corner. We're going to take this over here and bring it over there. But this guy can't control his motorcycle right. He doesn't actually have the control of the controls that are controlling the motorcycle. He doesn't know how to use the brakes properly, or does he have feel with the brakes and all these different things. So one thing at a time. So we work on the feet on the peg, standing, sitting the whole time, blah, blah, blah. Then we work on the hips. Then we work on the back. Then we go all the way go through all my whole approach, my technique, and my delivery. Then we'll go to sections. Because once I can get you to master your technique, master your approach, well, then I'll be able to get you to master these trickier little lines or going harder into the corner. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One step at a time, especially with a sport that's so dynamic and a sport that takes so much. It takes a master to be good at this sport. So you need to master these little points in your technique and your approach to be good at this sport, not just kind of run through them and be okay at them. Because the best guys in the world right now are technicians. They're masters. From Jet, he's one of the best. Sexton, one of the best. Prado, one of the best. Now you're looking at Deegan, one of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, they're all, 21 years old, 20-something years old. When did my first DVD come out on this shit? 2010?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't teach themselves. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Learning from the Jedi himself. I noticed you have Instagram live going on right now.
Yeah.
Are people asking any questions to you?
Yeah. There's some people joined. I think they're waving at me right now. I think they're just listening to me, talk right now. But yeah, I don't know. There's another wave. There's another wave.
Another wave.
They just like to wave, man. And they just like to wave. You got any questions in there?
A lot of waving on the Instagram.
A lot of waving. It's good. I'll take a wave. I'll take a wave instead of a finger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
All the time.
So, But yeah, that's the thing is the biggest thing is like that. That's what I see a lot of people just kind of, they're just ending up in places. They're ending up in situations, meaning like, oh, I ended up blowing this corner or ended up with the back end coming sideways. Well, because you weren't ahead of yourself. You weren't with yourself, Instinct, intuition, initiation.
Okay.
Your instinct and your intuition is done by practice. Your initiation is done by being a master. You know what I mean? You initiate stuff by you're doing stuff before it even happens because you're a master of your craft because you know exactly what's going to be happening next. That's why you see riders, the top riders, they start to lean over here because they know that bike just kicked out to the right and it's coming left.
Yeah.
Because they've done it so many times, so they're already initiating what's going to happen. Instinct and intuition is by doing the same thing. You don't really have to think about it. You know what I mean? But there's a whole nother level is initiation, right? The first level of thinking is conscious incompetency. I have to think about it because I don't know how to do it. The second level is conscious competency. I have to think about it because I kind of know how to do it. The last level is subconscious competency. I don't have to think about it because I know how to do it so well. And now those are the levels of learning.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so that's where I always tell people is that you got to make sure that you're trusting what you're doing. There can't be belief in it. I believe I'm gonna know. No. I hope. No. I wish. No. No, because there's behind hope is fear.
Yeah.
Behind wishing is stress. Behind belief is disbelief. But when you fucking know, you fucking know.
Yep.
Done. Bottom line.
You're bringing up something about that whole looking ahead element. Last year, I don't know if you paid attention to Aaron Plessinger, but he had a thing about overshooting corners all over the Supercross track. And it just reminded me of that when you were talking about that. I was like, oh, yeah,
Well, Aaron's tightened up, like, for the last 2 years, he was so sloppy. I don't give a shit, man. Elbows down, leg behind his thing, butt tucked, back rounded. Sloppy.
Yeah.
He was, compared to the guys of Jet and Sexton and all these guys that are very, very technically sound.
Yeah.
He was sloppy. And he's tightened up his game a little bit more, but he needs to definitely bring his back straight up. He needs to rotate his hips out. He's tucking too much, and that causes him to always be on the side of the motorcycle.
Got it.
And if it wasn't correct, then he would be more up there.
Yep.
Plain and simple. But again, if the fastest guys in the world are riding a certain way and you ride opposite and these guys are beating you, well, then maybe you need to take a page out of their book.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like a boxer, just like MMA, just like anything. The better guy, how many people took a page out of Kobe's, out of LeBron's, out of Jordan's book? Right? They're not just going to keep playing the same way and these guys just go around them and score 50 on them. They're going to be like, hold on. I might need to study this guy. But this is wrong with motocrossers. Their ego's so big is they don't want to study their competitor, but their competitor's kicking their ass every weekend. And that's where I went wrong. I remember we were at, because back in my day, it was like whoever's the fittest is going to win, right?
Okay.
So, and Jeremy and Jeff weren't always the fittest, but they were very technically sound. Yeah. And we're riding the track below my house now, back in the day, and we're getting ready for actually this weekend in Millville. So myself and Fro were out this track, and it's super, super rough, hot, because it's 100 degrees outside. Yes, us road motocrossers used to ride in 100-degree heat, everybody.
Yeah.
And not complain about it, and they didn't shut down the races and make shorter motos. You know what I mean? So we're out there doing a 30. And he goes in. And so I'm doing my 30. I go, shit, his bike must have broke, So I do my 30. I go back in. He's loading his bike up. And I go, what's wrong? Your bike break? And he's like, because we were teammates, Team Kawasaki. Yeah. And he goes, nah, just not feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling it today. I can't work on my corners. I'm going to go to Star West. I'm like, Star West? That's a full vet track, flat. You know what I mean? And we got Millville coming up. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, that's probably damn good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, good job. Yeah. And so he took off. Did I do a 30? Hell no, I did a 40. Oh, I'm doing a 40. I'm kicking this dude's ass this weekend.
Yep.
We go to Millville. He goes 1-1. I go 2-2. But just because he was a little bit more technically sound. And same with Jeremy, just more technically sound. But I didn't know that then. We didn't know that back in the day. So now I don't try to get my riders to be super fit. I want them to be technically sound because that just creates more fitness. because you're not using as much energy.
Yeah.
Duh. You know what I mean? But I never really thought about that. And then so I'm not the guy now to make my guys super fit, which they are, just because of their mindset, the way they eat, and the stuff how they train. They train differently, but it's being technically sound, so you don't make those little mistakes, so you don't have to make up more time because of the time that you lost, and that you're not using excess energy to override this motorcycle. So let's say an Aaron is using a little bit of excess energy, being a little sloppy, hanging off the edge. Same with like a RJ, Hampshire, right? Yep. And so you see guys that are very technically sound, like a Prado and this and that. They don't have to, like a Jean-Michel Bale and all these guys that were very smooth, they didn't have to really train as hard because they didn't use as much energy. Done,
Guess what?
Third moto?
Third moto.
Already?
And you're already on the podium.
Damn, did we go 1-1-1 or what?
You went 1-1-1 on that one.
1-1-1 for first. I like that. We'll take that.
Yeah,
today.
you are definitely on the podium all 3 motos.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the first time we went live on Instagram, so there you go. But motocross naturally makes it does. Motocross is the best fitness thing you can do. A guy asked, motocross makes you naturally fit. 100%. 100%. You could, if you did one thing, if someone said, okay, if people could ride motocross all the time, or just anybody could, and he said one thing, I'd say, well, just go ride your motorcycle. Yep. That'd make you fitter than a bicycle, running, gym or anything. But make sure you do yoga, or your ass is going to be so sore.
Yeah.
Because again, if you work out,
you got to have core training.
Yeah, you got to work out to work in.
Yeah.
If you're going to work out hard, you got to rest hard.
And, well, also, don't you have to have that core, just that core strength built up?
Yeah, you got to have that core strength, but also you can't just work out. If you're going to work out, you also got to work in. Work in is meaning by kind of nourishing the body. Yeah. Giving the body rest. And it's not by a static rest, it's by an active rest. Sometimes you recover so much better and easier that way. So that's a big thing with me. Look, if you're going to work out hard, we need to rest hard. But now we're not going to rest with your feet up eating ho-hos and ding-dongs. No, you know what I mean? We're going to be doing these things so that your body, because now you're an engine. Your body's an engine. Yep. So you can't just shut engines off. You don't just shut off racehorses. You don't just shut off, things like that. You just see the Tour de France. They ride before, they ride, and then they ride when they're done. It's because you're becoming an engine now. Yeah. And so you got to make sure that you keep that blood flowing, that oil moving in that engine, or you actually sometimes can kind of be very sluggish if you take too much time off.
Spin a bearing.
Huh?
Spin a bearing.
You might get spin a bearing, yeah, you could. Foul plug.
So, last song.
Yeah.
Right now I have Motley Crue Red Hot.
Yeah, I got Motley Crue. Motley Crue all day, man.
Is that a good choice?
I used to cruise down Valley Park with my buddy with Motley Crue blaring in our stereos, thinking we were cool. All right. Looking for chicks.
That's a good...
and never getting any.
that's a good close song. Then.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, Big 49 with Ryan Hughes. Looking ahead. See you next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m.